welcome back to the channel. In this video, I've got behind, and I have a store in town, my wife's cousin's store. It's a flower shop. I set cutting boards, bird feeders, stuff like that as gifts, and my tic-tac-toe boards, which I will link a video somewhere up in the corner somewhere, wherever it is, and my cutting boards are my main sellers, and I am out of both. So in this video, and I'm just going to show you how I make my cutting boards. I mean, I don't try to keep a lot. Here's some cherry. I don't know why I'm holding it, but I don't try to keep a lot. About half a dozen worth, just small. I like 8x10 cutting boards, just small as gifts. I don't charge a lot for them because it's all scrap. This is all stuff that was just left over from projects. I've got a ton. I was able a few years ago from one of my local mills. One of my local mills. I got a ton of cutoffs that they got. Some of them have discrepancies in them. I guess it's checking, not, but I've got a small area here I can get a cutting board out of. I got like a pallet full of them. So I've got all kinds of walnut. So we're good there. I have very little cherry, but you can't beat cherry. It's beautiful wood. I got some maple picked out, some red oak, and I've still got more red oak. And this is red oak. I labeled my ash, and I don't know where, I believe that is ash. No, it's maple. There it is. Hey, little buddy. Got some ash, so that doesn't sound right. So we're gonna get to making cutting boards. Stay tuned. My cutting boards are fairly simple. I just want straight, flat boards, good square on at least 3 sides, and I try to alternate the grain as far as not shaping the same way on every single little piece. You can go through, and there's so many different designs that you can put. I like mostly having walnut because I believe darker wood sells better, and it's a lot prettier after the oil gets on it. But you can cut, some pieces 1 inch, some pieces 3-4 inch, whatever. But cutting boards are pretty much straight through, and they sell like hotcakes. If you're not making cutting boards, you are really missing out. By clamping all the cutting boards together, you really maximize your
clamp to cutting board ratio. I can fit 3 into these shorter clamps. I'm not exactly sure how long they are, but I can fit 3 into them and with no problem at all. Once getting the cutting boards out of the clamps, I run them through the planer on both sides to make sure they're good and even thickness and good and smooth. I take them down to 3/4, just for where they're not so big. They don't have to be real thick. Now, some people like them thicker, and I do 3/4. And after they're all planed down to 3/4, I take them back to the table saw and just cut the uneven ends off. Now, I don't really make sure they're square when I first glue them up. I always cut the pieces longer. Then I run them through, after run through the planer, I take them to my miter saw and I cut them to the 12 inches. Then I take them over to the router table, and with a 1/4 inch round over bit, I go on all 8 sides. It's all 4 sides, and then I flip it and do all 4 sides again, then go to sanding.
On all my cutting boards, I like to put these little rubber feet on the bottom of them. They just have a screw, comes with the kit. Here, I guess kit pack, that screw into the board and helps keep it off the table or counter or wherever it's going to be. And it's just, it don't mar nothing up. I mean, it's rubber, so it looks good. And oh, there you go, it looks good. There's not a particular order to put these in, or at least not order placement. I like to get them, somewhat. They're off a little bit. They're never exactly perfect, but I like to get them somewhat close. And they seem, like I said, they look good, and they seem to look spaced even. Nobody's gonna see it. I mean, that goes on the bottom, but you still want to be pretty for your customer. I always use a drill when I run these in, so I can set my chuck. Impact can't do that, so that's something to keep in mind. There you go, it's got all the feet on it. Don't forget, if you have a brand, put your brand on the bottom. If you don't, you might want to think about getting you a branded iron, or I see a lot of people laser engraver. I plan on doing that sometime in the future, because these brands, they're hit and miss on whether they look good. Like, I got some of them that's kind of iffy, like this right here, this corner is kind of iffy, and I got some that's too dark, some's too light, but either way, they're there. So there's that one. Let's put them on the rest of them. right there is how I make my cutting boards. Rubber feet, brand, and hardwoods. You know, there's other ways to make cutting boards, all kinds of unique designs, styles. But I preferably go with the straight grain. I have done like a 45 come through. I've made the cutting board, then I've cut it into pieces. So like, let's say this one, you know, I would cut it and then I would just stagger them over and change every position on every row all the way down. Kind of give like a checkerboard type look, but still different, if that makes sense. Like a plaid almost look. I don't know if that makes sense. But I have done that. I found that in my opinion, or at least what I've noticed, the darker woods, I mean, I'm huge in putting walnut in them. I love the color of walnut, especially after we get some oil on it. It's beautiful. I found the darker woods tend to sell a little better, but you still got people that like the lighter woods. So, you know, I made a couple for them. So that's how I make them. We put this Howard cutting board oil. That's what I like to put on them. It's just mineral oil. That's all it is. That's another reason why I go ahead and put the feet on them. I can put the oil over this whole cutting board, front and back, sides, you know, everywhere. And air can still get through there and help it soak in. That way it's not setting on another piece of wood like my workbench or anywhere else. And just saturating that. So it helps soak it in with the feet on. So that's another reason why I go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go ahead and get these all on this. And if y'all got any questions, comments, any concerns, anything, go ahead and give me a like, subscribe. I appreciate it. You know, y'all are the reason why I do this. It ain't for me. It's just maybe I can inspire someone else the way I was inspired to help get them going in woodworking, and you know, maybe, you know, something they're stuck on. Maybe they might learn a little bit or something. So yeah, give me a like, subscribe. I appreciate it. Questions, comments, you know, I read them all. I may not respond to them, but I do read them all. I may respond to them a few months later too. But I appreciate it. You know, if you have any concerns, any tips on doing this better, I know there's cutting boards are basically like, I ain't gonna say the easiest, but one of the best ways to get into woodworking, because they're so straightforward, so simple, that everybody, that seems to be what they get started making. Y'all have a good day. God bless.